then when you promise somebody, you know, I promise to be there or I promise to do this for you, then nothing in the world will stop that from occurring.
Okay, so the power of promise. Starting small, give us an example of something that we can start small with.
Well, take an area that you want to sort of change or improve. For instance, your health.
My health. Okay, I could use some exercise.
Yeah, well, the power of promise would be that, like tomorrow or today, I will climb the stairs upstairs 7 times or 10 times.
Jeez, that's ambitious.
I know you live in a palace, right?
You don't know how many floors I have. Okay, so I make a commitment to myself that I'm going to do something, but in reachable terms.
Yes. Not only in reachable terms, but started off in very reachable terms, because what we're practicing here is not the thing that you're doing, but the promise that you're making. That is what we're kind of like practicing and exercising. So it's not about, let me find something really hard and then I'll make that promise and then I will go out and do it. We're not practicing that. We're not practicing the activity like the climbing of the stairs. We're practicing the power of your promise and increasing the power in that.
Keeping your own word to yourself.
Absolutely. And many cultures around the world, you know, they hold like a person's word as their bond. You know, that is what will keep a person going and striving.
Okay, so I'm going to climb the stairs once, Kal.
Okay.
So that's good. So I keep that promise, and then I can build on that, right? The next time I'm going to go climb it twice.
Well, yeah, but again, it's about the promise, not the activity. So you could sort of say, well, you know, as a different thing, I'm going to drink a glass of orange juice in the morning for my breakfast rather than, you know, not having any breakfast, for instance, or something else.
Or Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Or a beer.
Or a beer for breakfast.
Beer for breakfast.
Okay.
Okay, so this can actually impact and touch all parts of our lives, but making it very reachable with the focus on keeping your own word to yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay,
then also, you mentioned this intriguing thing. I love the sound of it. Synchronizing the Phoenix moments. What is that about?
Well, that's actually a couple of things that have been sort of joined together there. One of the things that I kind of like kind of feel that brings power into a person's life is Phoenix moments. And what I do is describe the nature of the Phoenix. And the Phoenix, as most people will know, is a bird that sets itself on fire, burns in a fire, and then it rises from the ashes. And we kind of like see that as a rebirth or as a renewal of life or as a return to original purity, whichever words that you want to use. But one of the things that is not sort of known about the Phoenix fable is that the Phoenix actually actively goes out and collects the ingredients for its fire. Okay, I think it's like one of the ingredients is cinnamon branches.
Cinnamon branches,
yeah. So I think it actively goes out and seeks those components, brings them to its nest, and then sits within the nest and then ignites itself, using all of those ingredients to be reborn and retransformed. And the kind of process that I stole from that myth is that what we should do as well is we need to go out and seek the components that we need to set ourselves on fire so that we can be reborn and transformed.
Wow. So this is really nice. So go ahead with this. I like this.
So rather than, most of the transformations that occur in a person's life is due to something else in the world occurring. An event occurs, and then they have to transform because of that event overwhelms them. And instead of doing that, why not? Let's actually know that we are a being of change, and therefore go out and set up the circumstances so that we have to change. right? So we build that, we go out there and we actively pursue circumstances and events that will help us to change.
So we're facilitating the change.
Yes, we are, yeah.
By not just being aware of it, but actively going out and looking for things that will help us to change. And change is perhaps to grow?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, growth can't come without change, but change there's only one constant in the universe that I kind of see, and that is change. Okay, and our happiness or our comfortableness with change is dependent on our flexibility, right? And our flexibility comes from our going out there and seeking things that will change us, so that we can become flexible when change arrives unexpectedly.
Wayne Dyer, he gave an example of a storm blowing the palm trees.
Yeah.
And if a palm tree or any tree has not experienced a storm in its life, and then a storm comes by, boom, it's going to break.
Yeah.
However, if the tree undergoes the storm, it becomes flexible with time.
Uh-huh.
And so these storms are kind of important. So actively going out and seeking storms.
Well, no, I'm not going to recommend that. Yes, please read the small print below this audio.
So anyway, we're not going to seek storms, but we're going to acknowledge and recognize that we are creatures of change.
Yeah.
And then we're going to facilitate that by actively going out and seeking the ingredients or the situations or whatever it is that's going to help us to grow and help us to change.
That's right. I mean, this is like going to the gym. Say in the future, I know that I'm going to get a position, a job moving furniture. Okay, So I go to the gym, and at the gym, I'm not actually moving furniture, I'm just lifting weights. But it's exercising the parts of my body, the parts of my being, that will be then used later on when I am lifting furniture. Okay, so this is the same principle in that we go out there and we exercise our changing muscles, our flexibility. Okay, so that when the world provides us with situations and events that we need to cope with, we are able to do that because of our flexibility.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So as an example of this is like one of the things that I kind of really like to do and encourage others to do is find people who are interested in what you want to be interested in, but can't find the motivation to, explore that area or change yourself in that manner.
Oh, they have enthusiasm, a natural enthusiasm inside of themselves, right?
Uh-huh. And then go and hang around with them.
Ooh, I like this.
Right?
Yeah. Hang around with people who embody the enthusiasm and the natural interest of what you want.
Yes.
And by the process of even just by osmosis, you're going to pick some of that up, aren't you?
You are. And that's the thing we do, because the people that we sort of associate ourselves with and the people that we kind of are in the company with are people that we will go out of our way to show, for them to, for us to see in them some kind of respect or some kind of levelness of the playing field. So we like to be like the people we are hanging around with. Okay, that is kind of like a natural force that's out there. So that kind of is an example of the Phoenix moments, because again, basically it's to go out there and seek components necessary that will help you to change.
Then Kal, you also mentioned about seeing the power in yourself. What does that mean? How does one see the power?
Well, the thing with it is that we live our life, and the way that we view the world is all about perception. Okay, and so I like to use, because people often go on the basis of, well, I believe that, but I can't really see it anywhere, but I kind of believe it because, or have faith in it. And although faith and belief is are good things, I like to say, well, no, I want to perceive it. I want to see this. I want to viscerally actually see this in my life rather than just believing. It's like believe that you're empowered or have faith that you're empowered.
It's kind of like a background belief. It's kind of hovering around the background. And yeah, I kind of believe that. I kind of experienced it to some degrees. But you're saying to make an actual decision to go out and seek it.
Yeah, the perception of it comes from these things that we're talking about here. Once we consciously start observing these effects that we're having in the world, these responses that we're giving to the world, then we'll be able to perceive that power that we have. And that, I think, is a very important thing, because then you don't have the kind of you won't say that, I believe in empowerment and I have faith that is right. You'll say, no, there are concrete examples. Here they are, A, B, C, D. Here are concrete examples of how I am empowered. Okay? So you actually perceive that. And perception is the key, because we are perceptive beings. We kind of like hold on so tightly to the notion that seeing is believing, right? So we need to see it before we'll believe it. So what I'm saying is, yeah, I agree. Let's go out there and pursue empowerment in a manner so that you can perceive it, and you can get up daily and look at, I don't know, your journal or some kind of written material that has examples of these in your own life, not just, you go around like places like Facebook and you see all these quotes from all of these people who are dead. Right? I'll quote this dead person and I'll quote that dead person, and they're fabulous quotes. But I like to say, people, look, surely your life has got something in there that you can quote. Yeah, your own life experience. Quote that.
That's wow. That's true.
Right?
Matter of fact, I just quoted you about the power of the promise and seeing the power in yourself. And so not being afraid to embrace the life.
No, don't be afraid.
To give credit for people who are living.
Yeah, well, to give credit to yourself. Right? To give credit to yourself. That's the point. I mean, we talked about Marianne Williamson before. Her fabulous quote is about, what do you fear the greatest, right? What is your greatest fear? And the greatest fear, turns out, according to that quote, is that you're afraid of shining. You're afraid of what other people might think if you shine. Right?
Success.
Yeah.
To fulfillment. Because what's behind that fear is what's next. That what happens when the process is over. It's I'm faced with an identity crisis. Help!
well, we're going to be looking at that in the next conversation that we have. So,
Kal, what does this mean in terms of our solar chakra? Because we talked about the root chakra in terms of freedom, and this has an association with the solar chakra?
It does, yes. And then the solar chakra is actually, if you look at the roots of where that solar chakra is described, it's described as fire. Okay, it's a chakra of fire, and which is good because it kind of relates to the phoenix and the fire of the phoenix as well, in that sense. But it is where we consume ingredients, that whether those ingredients come from us or whether they come from the world, to create new things. Okay, so it's the crucible, in one sense, of like how we survive and thrive through change. Here, this is action. This is about actually going out and doing stuff. Okay, so all of the doing that we do, all of the actions that we do in the world, are sourced in our solar chakra. So everything sort of like draws in from all of the other chakras, and if it needs to be done in the world, then it shoots out through that one. That is where we interact with the world.
Okay, so this is the action part.